As a leader, you manage team members with varying degrees of expertise and skill. To help you navigate these complexities, the leadership dial allows you to flex your leadership style according to the competency level of each employee. The main principle of the leadership dial is that the more competent an employee is, the more autonomy he or she receives. So it actually has 4 different styles ranging from directive, where the employee still has limited capability and limited autonomy, to mentoring, to coaching, to empowering, where the employee actually has significant expertise and has full-fledged autonomy. Now let's look at each of these 4 styles. Directive, for newbies to the workforce or those lacking experience. You provide clear and detailed instructions, and you check their work after they finished it, like you going over an order that a new intern has just created before sending it out to a supplier. So this style is very labor intensive, so make sure that you always mention why people are doing things, because this will make it easier to actually transition into mentoring. This is for employees that have some experience but still require guidance, so you offer advice on how to get the work done. You work alongside them and give them constructive feedback. Now, up until this point, most of the activities and tasks are actually done the way you would have done them, but that all changes when the employee develops significant capabilities and moves on to coaching. For employees with higher skill levels but still require some guidance, you ask them questions to actually guide their decision making and let their own knowledge come to the surface. So when I was a general manager in the southern parts of Germany, I actually had very experienced people in the technical sales team, but under previous leadership they'd never been allowed to make their own decisions. So whenever they came to me with a question on a technical sales offer, I'd actually ask them questions like, okay, why did you create this calculation? Why is the margin 30%, not 35% or 25%? Or I'd ask them, what are the underlying risks that may be hidden in this offer? And I noticed that soon after, they really started developing their own decision-making skills, and they moved on to empowering, where they actually ran into my office, gave me the offers that were above a certain monetary threshold, and explained why they set up the proposal the way they did. Empowering. You empower experienced employees that are actually capable of working independently, and you delegate specific tasks or activities, or even better, certain areas of responsibility. And when you do this, you provide the why for context, any objectives that might be there, but also the boundaries such as budget, for example, resources and KPIs. And the employee then decides how they're going to go about doing that work, and also they make decisions independently. And together you talk about how you're going to communicate, how you organise your check-ins or follow-ups, so that works seamlessly. And I remember one wonderful manager once saying to me, Lizette, I'm assuming that everything works well. If there's an emergency, please report it to me, or if you need any help, reach out to me, I'm here. But anything else, feel free to just go and do whatever you want to do. And that was really lovely. And for empowerment, this empowerment box can actually be really big, like that manager gave me when I was in project management, or it can be rather small with smaller contacts and smaller boundaries, as I've seen in some standardized production processes. Now, sometimes you may use 2 styles for one individual if they have different areas of responsibility. So when my husband actually transitions from supply chain planning into data reporting, he was empowered for his supply planning activities, but he received mentoring and coaching for data reporting. Also, during conversation, whenever a relatively experienced employee comes in and you use the coaching style, if you do notice that in a complex situation and you've asked them several questions and they don't really seem to be able to reach an answer, it's perfectly fine to move back into mentoring and provide them with some advice. But first ask these questions though, because there might be a hidden gem in there. The concepts of trust and control are ubiquitous, and the way control looks actually differs. Interactive, it might be really checking on all of the activities, or as for empowering, you just decide on a collaboration and communication structure together, and then the employee goes off and does stuff until you have your next check-in. Please note that both extremes are not leadership. So doing everything yourself, that's not leading, that's being an individual contributor. And also telling people, here you go, I'm off, bye, for them never to see you again, that is leaving employees to fend for themselves and to survive on their own. Not leadership either. Ideally, you should move people along the leadership dial from directive to empowering. This frees up time in your agenda, and it gives an opportunity to others to be intrinsically motivated and autonomously work on something. And this delivers team performance and also increases team engagement. And in case you're really busy or have a lot of direct reports, why not ask some people that are very experienced and have been empowered to train and lead and mentor some of the new joiners? The experiments get the leadership dial into action for your team. What style does each of your individual team members actually need? And what style are you using? Enjoy reflecting and turning up or down the leadership dial.